Now this world shall know pain.
Naruto Shippuden Ultimate Ninja Storm 2 was officially announced on December 21st, 2009 by Bandai Namco Games at a Jump Festa event. Around this time, Bandai will release documentaries following the studios of their games and the studios that were basically glued to the Naruto franchise, CyberConnect 2. These documentaries will give you, of course, a curated look behind the studios who made the games and how the process went. They will release a few of these little documentaries to the lead up of Naruto Storm 2. I would link the video, but I don't have enough subscribers to do that yet, so sorry. This will also be CC2's first multi-platform release and first Xbox release. Coming for the PlayStation 3 and the Xbox 360, CyberConnect 2 will work closely on this title with Microsoft to ensure a good experience for its users. Expanding their audience from PlayStation, Bandai had hoped Naruto Storm 2 would surpass 700,000 units sold by November 2010, a month after its release date in October 2010. But the game would smash that and become Bandai's second biggest game behind Tekken 6 with 1.1 million copies sold. I wonder if I should do a mini retrospective on Tekken 6. Let me know if you want me to do that. I'll probably do it anyway. But if you skip this part and whatever, that's cool. In the behind the scenes look at Naruto Shippuden Ultimate Ninja Storm 2, one of the co-founders of CyberConnect 2 said that they had loved anime and manga of the sort. So the love poured into the opening shouldn't be a surprise to anyone. Storm 2 opens with Sakura wailing for Naruto to return to a dark and torn hidden leaf as a pierced man hovers above. I got chill. Even today when I decided to revisit my origins, this game series is one of the few intros I let rock just to revel in the memories. When I first saw this game, the only thing I could think of was, wow, this is the best looking anime game with 3D model, only to be dethroned later by 2D one. Dragon Ball FighterZ, you know the deal. The transition between cutscenes and gameplay were almost unnoticeable and still are in 2024. The details on the models for this type of game were so close to the anime as any anime game I had ever seen up to this point. The only other anime games I had seen were Naruto Clash of Ninja 1 and 2 and Dragon Ball Z Budokai. This game was leaps and bounds ahead of those in terms of facial expressions and presentation. During cutscenes, you could see the pain on Naruto's face when he had learned of Jiraiya's death, or when Hinata was pierced by one of Pain's poles. You could see Naruto's skin being peeled off and replaced with a void of red, white, and black. All of this translates well into the moment-to-moment gameplay, not only in the story, but in QuickTime events. QuickTime events were something I had never personally experienced up to this point in video games. My knowledge of video games where you shoot this character online and they yell racist stuff at you, and you wonder how they know you're black without even having a mic on. Although they took it away in the remasters of the Naruto Storm games, the ones I used for this replay, QTEs will be challenging and satisfactory for a newcomer as they test your reaction times and reward you for memorization if you play more than once. During these QTE sequences, they give you something akin to a star ranking system. Between 1 and 5 stars, the quicker you respond to the prompt, the more stars you would get. When you gathered enough of them, a small scene would play called a secret factor. This would be a screenshot saying something unique for that battle. While this is your reward for being good, there was also a sequences in the game that if you failed them, you would get a unique scene as well. And all of these QTEs were tied to boss fights. And boss battles were these incredible spectacles that would draw anyone into their vision. CC2 remade the big battles of each arc or major obstacle that Naruto and his friends had faced, whether it be from his return to the leaf or his final battle with Pain. The ones that stuck with me the most were dodging lightning and water dragons from a perched Kakashi, surfing on sand through the night sky of the hidden sand village as Gaara attempts to shoot the art maker Deidara out of the sky, or weaving through the iron sand of Sasori while Chiyo takes control of Sakura's body. The fights with an unleashed Ninetales against Orochimaru and Pain were peak fiction for me at the time. How could I forget Sasuke versus Orochimaru, as well as his gut-wrenching tussle with his older brother Itachi. There was a few times later in the series, but me backing away from Itachi while all my chakra is gone and I can't regenerate it is such a unique way to portray this boss fight. I try to attack the shield of his Asano, he blows me back. I charge my chakra, but the bar has been cut into like a tenth of where it's usually at. I try to throw kunai and nothing comes out. When I attempt to jump, I trip over myself. Most of the boss fights do something unique that make them memorable to the average anime nerd such as myself. That being said, one of the things I didn't like is that some of the fights I thought should be boss fights with cinematics and moments and cutscenes didn't have that. A good example of this is Deidara vs Sasuke. In this game, there are two types of text boxes. One is a light-based box that pops up with a talking character. Whether it had voice acting was a toss-up. The other was a clear blue text box that covered the bottom of the screen and always had voice acting. I bring this up because this fight had all the build up to an epic boss fight between the two. It had full voice acting, while at a slightly less production value, the scenes had cinematics as well. It was one of those things that disappointed me when going back to the game because I thought this fight had QTEs and covered a bigger portion than it actually did. Even though it wasn't what I remembered, I appreciate these fights being structured this way in the end because if everything, although different in each boss match, had QTEs, it would have felt repetitive after a few times in a row.
Side missions and things kept the story gameplay loop from feeling boring. Along with the main story, side quests come in the form of helping villagers out. They come in different forms, but most boil down to fetch quests and fighting. In the story mode, you are able to walk down the narrow branching paths to get and achieve these missions. You are able to go to different places that bear significance to Naruto Shippuden up to the Pain arc, such as Sand Village and the Hidden Mist. This is Storm 2's world. In it, some side quests lead to extra story content such as Sasuke Taka versus Killer Bee. To achieve this, you have to find and beat all these cursed dolls scattered across the world. Though it does get repetitive after a while, you kind of have to do it if you want to replay the missions.
Speaking of repetitive, Naruto Storm's combat at its core is just pressing one button over and over again to get a combo. They add more combo ability in later iterations, with my favorite being Naruto Storm Generations. But with Storm 2, it didn't feel refined or good to play at all for this retrospective. It is vastly inferior to all the Storm games that come after it. There was no chakra dash canceling, meaning you couldn't press Y and A or triangle and cross to be able to dash out of your combo streams. You couldn't double jump, sidestep, or jutsu cancel. It felt like they had locked you into the 4 combos they preset you into, which were a neutral combo, you mash the attack button, a forward combo where you tilt the analog stick left or right, an up combo where you tilt the stick up, and a down combo where you tilt the stick down. And coming backwards from newer games makes this game feel like a fossil among its successors.
The assist system felt pretty okay and varied within the confines of this game. You can choose between 1 or 2 assists to aid you in battle. Those assists are the character's jutsu without the cinematics if they had one, like Naruto's is his Rasengan. When choosing the assist, you pick between attack, guard, or balance for their assist type. Attack will aid you in combos, guard will block chakra dash, and balance will throw kunai. And I think it aids in faster chakra recovery when charged. Picking assists mattered because some of those were definitely designed to be more effective than others.
Another thing I didn't like about this game was being forced into a neutral situation after chakra dashing at a guarding opponent. You basically spent resources to get close to an opponent in a game where the arena sizes vary. Then your opponent could just block and send both of you flying in the opposite direction. I wouldn't mind this in the game if the combos were so godlike that they took like half of your health bar, but they don't. A better solution for this version of the game would have been to make the dash itself negative on block, but safe at which the person dashing can be punished for skipping what this game calls neutral by being put into a block stream. Besides, the dasher could always spend chakra to do an incredibly hard substitution jutsu. Substitution jutsu, the most frustrating thing in this game. Trying to pull off a substitution jutsu in this game was to the point that I had to laugh to keep from raging. And I play fighting games with more messed up set play than this. But with substitution jutsus, it was more like the harder you mash, the more you get rewarded with broken triggers. I understand why they did it, as it could be seen as a good balance between virtually unlimited substitutions. And I'm glad they made it easier to do in later games as well by separating it from the chakra bar. The funny thing about it, as much as I did not like the toughness of the substitution substitution jutsu. I like the concept of meter management in a game like this where it's pretty much where you'll find all the depth in its gameplay. The chakra bar runs under the health bar and controls pretty much anything beyond basic movement, ninja tools, assist, and combos. It controls chakra dash, back and forward, substitutions, enhanced kunai, basic jutsus, and ultimate jutsus. Having all this tied to one bar was a great way for someone to learn how to manage resources, even though it was large. You didn't have to choose between chakra, kunai, or ninjutsu, so to speak, because ultimate jutsus require you to be past a certain little tick to be done. You have to be conscious of how much blue bar is spent. That is if you wanted to throw a Hail Mary out in neutral. Outside of being interested in Naruto itself, the presentation of the ultimate jutsus egged me into getting in this game. Each character super pulls reference from their anime and manga counterpart to an extent, while CC2 filled in the blanks. Flashy cinematics felt like you were watching a beautiful rendition of the anime and manga. Watching Sasuke do his Kyurin, or Naruto's eyes change as he charges at you with a 9 tails Rasengan. Most of the jutsus have a great quality about them that make you want to watch them all. I did that before I watched videos of people on YouTube about doing the all ultimate jutsus and stuff like that. It was cool. They're all cool. But some were like Kakashi's Mangekyo Sharingan or Sakura Super. They weren't flashy or impactful. It just felt like they were tacked on, even though I know they weren't. Naruto was still an ongoing series at the time, so the source material was kinda scarred. This could be felt with another huge mechanic in the series as well. Every character in the game had an awakening. With this, characters would get a boost in attack damage and hit stun to an extent. For a lot of characters, awakening would entail the screen darkening as the camera zooms in on them. An aura would surround them to show that they were in awakening. Others would get a whole transformation with new movesets. Characters like Naruto and Killer Bee would go into their tailed beast form, while someone like Kakashi would get a zoom in as he activated Sharingan. Naruto Storm 2 would be CyberConnect's 2 first attempt at an online multiplayer for Naruto. As an anime game that released in 2010 by Bandai Namco, you could sort of guess how the experience was. Yeah. But if you can't, Storm 2's netcode was delay based like their games that will follow suit up to this day with the recent release of Naruto Storm Connections. And I didn't mind delay based netcode back then, as Tekken 6, Blaze Blue, and other fighting games had it back then as well. So since the netcode was a relic of its time, I won't rail on it too much, other than this was the first good attempt at an online mode to an extent. Rank matches and player matches were the only modes to play, but Ninja Info cards were the other interesting part of the online infrastructure. Ninja Info cards were these cards where you can customize information about yourself to show others online. You could change the photo or the title to associate with the characters you want on the card. You could collect Ninja Info cards throughout the main story and the adventure mode of the game in their little shop there. But the Ninja Info cards don't carry over to the offline mode called Free Battle. Free Battle is an offline versus mode where you can go against a computer or another human. You can choose between team matches where you choose a point character and 1 or 2 assists, and single matches where it's just 1v1. If I'm being honest, the modes were lackluster themselves, and you could tell that a lot of the work went into the story mode and the characters, of which there are 42 of. Characters span across the paint art, with some characters like Minato being added as well. But the most interesting character added to the game has to be Lars Alexanderson. With a red kimono and golden armor tied in a neat bow with his crescent moon hairdo, Lars makes his way from Tekken 6 to Naruto Storm 2. Masashi Kishimoto was tasked with making a design for Lars in Tekken 6 that would be an alternate costume for him. This would serve as the basis for this weird but sensible crossover as Bandai produced both games. Naruto Shippuden and Ultimate Ninja Storm 2 felt like a love letter to the series. Almost all of them do. This being my first Naruto game in the Ultimate Ninja franchise felt like a good starting point for this series of mini retrospectives that I'm going to do, as well as a way to express my gratitude for the game that basically orchestrated a chain of events to me opening my horizons of more anime.
This video was like a lot longer than my other ones, so I didn't want to necessarily put the life story of me and how this game helped me through some type of moment in my life in the beginning or something like that. But if you guys like that part of the video, just let me know.